Disco X on the line, just as I suspected. No one really gets over me. I'm unaffected. Why would you try to ever put me second? You're just another groupie to me. No, I'm out here single, and I need some real. Now I got standards, give a fuck how you feel. I'm out here single, tell me what's the deal. Now I got standards, give a fuck how you feel.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Excited to have you with us right here on the Betting News Network. This is your afternoon Betspresso. That's Vsauce. That's Danny Burke with a fresh. We got two guys with a fresh new cut, chat. They love you guys so much. They both got fresh new cuts, ready to rock and roll. Excited to have you with us. My name is Sweatpants Jesus. Stoked to have you guys here on the Betting News Network. If you're watching us on YouTube, on Twitch, on X, wherever you guys are hanging out, appreciate you guys kicking it. Sauce Man, how we doing? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, boys. It's a good week. We got two games on Monday night. I know some people don't really love it, but more football is always welcome to me.
Sauce, always saucy. Exactly.
I know we're just trying to keep up with them here, baby. That's what the show's all about, keeping up with Vsauce. Look, like he said, two Monday night games tonight. No complaints. Wish it was the staggered times, but hey, we'll take what we can get, right, fellas?
Yeah. I don't understand why we got like one game on the last Monday night, then they did the doubleheader, the staggered. I like that. You got the West Coast game. V's feeling good about that as a West Coaster. But like, why did they then go back to having both games on at the same time? Like, I get it. You can have two TVs or split the screens, but like, what are we doing? Like, why do you do this? I don't understand. Pick one, NFL.
He has two TVs. Like, this is not how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be able to focus on one game and enjoy that game.
Facts. I wish that it was that way. And Prindy, I got a cut. See, hang on. Look at that freshness. See, it's fresh. I just don't have as much hair to show off in this situation as these guys. So that's how that goes. Yeah, mine's it's just hidden beneath the headphones. It's all good though. It's all good. We got Ghost and Chat. We appreciate you guys kicking it and hanging out with us today. Brent, yeah. Well, we'll talk about it in a minute, Brandon. But we appreciate you tuning in on YouTube. Wherever you guys are hanging out with us, thanks for stopping by and kicking it to kick off your Monday. Actually, finish off your Monday. We did our show earlier to kick off your Monday. You get to celebrate the Monday, kick off the slate, all that vibes. We appreciate you. Yeah, and Prindy, we're going to talk about – this is my new favorite game that we're playing now, boys. This is my new favorite game, Good, Bad, the Ugly. I need to maybe make an intro for this one. I have two intros that I have to work on. We got to get the slop single put together. We might have to do a Good, Bad, and Ugly video. Don't want to know what that video might look like. There's going to be some ugliness that happens at the very end of that. We may not need to talk about too much, but yeah, big vibes to kick off the day. Thanks to all of you guys for kicking it. Brought to you by our sponsors at Bet Online. We're going to talk about both Monday Night Football games tonight, the doubleheader. You can bet everything with this QR code right here with the promo code BNBOL55 to get involved. Yes, I am still in Kansas City for one more day, so this will be the second to last stream that you see me in Shackle Betts' chair, and then I will be back on Thursday back at my abode. But yeah, vibes are high. We're going to talk both games. We got some bets to get to. I know DBs, both of these guys wrote about both of these games at bettingnews.com. You guys can go peep their scribbles, but don't go anywhere right now. Stay with us. Hang out. Don't get it on another tab separately, and then you can read them whilst open it for later. Close that other tab and open this tab. That's what I'm saying. That's all we got. What's up? What's up? I love when chat gets involved. We'd love to see it. All right, guys. Let's talk about the weekend first a little bit, just to jump into it before we get to the good, bad, and the ugly. Obviously, we're going to talk a lot of NFL. So let's table the NFL stuff. Danny, I know you are a baseball. I know you've kind of put the baseball to bed a little bit, but the playoffs are around the corner. Anything from the weekend that really stood out to you in the baseball land as the playoffs start tomorrow?
I mean, not to not to beat a dead horse or to get anybody going here, but the biggest thing that stands out to me, and I know with Colby as well, is this MVP heated discussion. Now we can finally wait and see what happens. I, for anybody who does not know, am in complete agreement with Colby that it's Aaron Judge, not even close. We don't have to
Really?
spend a lot of time breaking it down, but yeah, I mean, statistically speaking and historically speaking, it is not even up for debate right now. So, yeah, and you saw the market slip back right before the end of the season too. Like it went to Cal Raleigh after he had, or he got like 60 or whatever the home run was. But Aaron Judge had 2 that same night, and then he went like 0 for 4 to Cal Raleigh the next day. Judge still did well. Then and people kind of take so much into account what the markets are saying, and yes, it is noteworthy, but a lot of it is based on the handle, right? Not what the books are perceiving necessarily. They have to alter it based on what kind of action they are receiving. But in terms of the postseason, I said it on shows when I was with Colby on the pickoff. I picked the Phillies to win their division. They came through, and they were my team to win the World Series as well. Now, I didn't bet them to win the World Series. I did bet them to win the division, but I still stand strong with Philadelphia being the team to come out of the National League and end up winning this entire thing. It sucks that obviously Wheeler with his injury, but they got a great staff. Their lineup is lethal. And I mean, if there's a year for them to do it, it's this one before a lot of their guys have to deal with upcoming contracts, I believe, coming up and everything surrounding that. And I don't buy into the Brewers in terms of a postseason team. The Dodgers not only have to get through the Reds, which they'll do that, but it's just they're not as dominant in their pitching staff in their own right. So I think this is the Phillies' time. And out of the AL, I don't know. I kind of like the Yankees. They were my pick for a while now, and not really buying into the Mariners offense outside of Cal Raleigh, who all he's producing is home runs. So, it could be any of those teams, but I still think Philadelphia's got the edge. So there's my little bit of baseball for you.
A little spiel. And you might get Danny and Colby talking tomorrow on the pickoff. You will have newsflash chat. Tomorrow's schedule is going to be all over the place, and we're moving schedules around to accommodate for the early baseball. So be on the lookout for the tweet. 3 shows tomorrow. Still, we'll all be on the network. Programming will be the same. It'll just be a different time. So look out for that. We might have DB with Colby tomorrow in the morning. We may not. The doggy needs to get appropriately taken care of. So we're going to wait to see what the vet says. But even though if you didn't, then you get it right now. Sauceman, do you have any thoughts on the baseball race? I know you've been totally tapped out of the baseball world, thankfully for yourself. But you got any thoughts on all that?
I have been checked out fully. The only thing I can say is I am a proud dumper pumper, a phrase that Kobe coined on the pickoff. So, yeah, proud dumper pumper here, and I would love to see him win the MVP. Do I have anything to back it up? Do I have any reason outside of my own biases? Absolutely none. I have no clue.
I respect that at least because you're just admitting that it's based on like pure emotion and fandom. And that's really the main reason everybody wants him to win is because of that, as opposed like outside of his home run production, it's just emotion and want, not objectively statistically speaking. So exactly. I respect you for admitting that.
Yeah, I want him to win. Do I think he deserves it or anything like that? I couldn't give you a valid response to that one, but it's a fun race and it's fun to see so many people debating all of this. You know what I mean? Like it's playoff baseball is right around the corner. The MVP talk is heating up. It's a good time to be a sports fan. You got NHL preseason already starting. I'm just trying to take it all in.
Man, this right now is the best, in my opinion, the best time of year to be a sports fan. You got playoff baseball, NFL and college football it's kind of settled in after that little excitement of the season starting. Now we're getting into more data. There's more teams, kind of the dust is settling. NHL, as you mentioned, around the corner. All of us are big NBA guys right up here. So NBA is starting to kick. We got media days that happen today. We got NBA right around the corner. So that's getting rocking and rolling. College basketball, if you're a college basketball sicko, is a month away. Boys, obviously, I'm in Shaggy's house, and we were talking about before our meeting this morning. And, of course, Mr. Shackle Betts was like, hey, just SPJ, there's about 5 weeks till college basketball starts. I'm just saying. I was like, all right, good, nice to know. Thank you. Yeah, professional ping pong heating up, too. You can, sports. Absolutely.
Did you guys sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, is this a homie of yours, or is he just loving the fact that we got Danny the GOAT in the house?
No, Garrett, I appreciate the love, my man. Hopefully we can get you some winner tonight. Yeah, no, unless it's one of my friends who just disguise his name or something. But regardless,
he's a friend of the program. That's a friend of yours now. So that's what matters.
Hey, that works. All I was going to say too is, obviously you were hanging out with Shags over the weekend, and we did Betspresso on Saturday. We had a pretty good college football day too, man. I was wondering if you got down any of the action, because I know SPJ, you're usually texting me about some of my favorite plays. V, obviously curious how you've been betting it this year, but it was a great weekend. The picks that we dished out seemed to perform really well, so I was hoping everybody else was able to cash them too.
I actually didn't bet too much college football this weekend. I was really locked in the NBA, or it's not the NBA, the NFL lab. So because of that, I was showing a little bit of restraint on Saturday. But what about you, SPJ? You get any action in there with the shaggy bets?
Oh, I did. You know me. I had my boosts that I used accordingly on the big games. I took what did I take? I took Oregon and I laddered it up. Like I took it like plus 6.5.
And you literally were making fun of yourself. You're like, I know I should just take them outright with the boost, but I'm gonna, it won nonetheless. But it was just funny because you were like predicting that, like, they'll probably win outright.
Yeah, it's how it goes every single time. Yeah. And I told you this, but the thing is, Danny, is I like to do that, and I don't get greedy on sports that I don't really follow and cap. And like it's fine. They ended up covering. They won outright, which is totally fine. But I won my 3/4 of a unit because I don't like. This is another thing too, chat. And I will say this to you guys is before we get into the good and the bad and the ugly and bring in some negativity to the program. There's nothing wrong with, because I like to put full units on NBA and NFL. Sometimes I'm getting a little better with the WNBA, which I will distribute full units on. Everything else, and respectfully to you guys, when I tail something that you tell me to tail, most of the time it's a half unit tail. Because I got to the point where I hated losing units on stuff that I don't either understand or I don't follow enough to understand. And like,
for sure,
I just can't do it. It just makes me so mad. And so like, I will bet full units or quarter units on, or 3/4 units on stuff that I feel really strongly about, obviously stuff that I'm capping specifically, but anything else that's a tail, it's usually a half unit, which I feel good about. And everybody can tail accordingly. You guys do what you want. It's your money, but like, that's kind of how I like to do it. So it does, if I put a half unit on something because someone tells me to, it doesn't mean that I don't have full confidence in it, or I don't love that person the same as anything else. It's just like, it's just a personal thing of how I like to spend my units. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Completely get it. Yeah. Hey, so, it's easier to be mad at yourself than someone else, so you got more conviction in your own analysis. So I get it. Completely.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those deals. Exactly. He's too busy cooking touchdown winners. That's how that goes. Shout out to V and Chef for hitting yours and your combo. And then Chef obviously hit a touchdown parlay yesterday too. I have one thing to say about the weekend, and then we'll jump into the good and the bad and the ugly. It's crazy to me that we're in the WNBA near the end of the season. And I know you guys are not big WNBA guys, but the Phoenix Mercury have made it to the finals. And I felt really awesome about my Asia MVP ticket cashing at 45-1. I have now a Phoenix Mercury 15-1 ticket for them to win the championship. And I also have an Alyssa Thomas 19-1 NBA in finals MVP ticket that I'm staring at too. Both of them very much so in play, and both of them very much so minus 115 or minus 120 accordingly. So I feel really good about that. We have one game. We have game 5 tomorrow night to determine who's going to be the other representative in the finals between either the Aces or the Fever. And I mean, if the Fever go, I feel like the Mercury are going to be really in the favorite. And then the Aces obviously might have something to say about that. But I'm excited to see what happens. I feel really good about both of those tickets in my back pocket. It's going to be fun to kind of see what the WNBA playoffs is looking like. But this is the first time that I've ever had back-to-back like CLV tickets of futures staring at me in the face, that one of them cashed and the other one is now looking at me going, hello, you might get some money from us too. It's so nice. So I'm excited for that aspect of the WNBA playoffs and the finals looking at me in the face, which is nice. Yeah.
I do also think that, not to say that the Indiana Fever are not good. They played fantastic. They're playing out of their minds. But if they do come out of the other conference, we're looking at a ticket that looks that much better just based on the rosters and all the pieces the Fever are kind of missing.
I also sprinkled on Kelsey Mitchell to win. I said this on the W chess. You can't get pissed at me that I didn't say this on the show. So I did tell you guys to possibly put a cup of coffee on this as well. I said Kelsey Mitchell for finals MVP was a good sprinkle at like 30-1, because my logic was there were 4 teams that you could make the finals at that particular point: the Lynx, the Mercury, the Fever, and the Aces. And it's like Lavisha Collier at that point was such a high favorite to be the finals MVP, because they were the favorite to go to the finals. She got hurt. They didn't end up making the finals at all, so that went out the window. Alyssa Thomas was already in my slips. Kelsey Mitchell was the best player on the Fever. So if they end up making it, she would obviously be the one that would be the finals MVP candidate, right? So it was like one of those, it was like just value either way. And now I get to look at both tickets and go, all right, let's see if this is going to be fun. Hey, let's go, Papa Shags. Thank you. One more day with your son. Thanks so much for being so hospitable yesterday. I got to see both of Shag's parents yesterday at the game too,
Nice.
Which was awesome.
That's
They
awesome.
had some fun tailgating. They didn't get involved in the shotgun that we ended up doing, but I respect the decision. Shag's mom filmed a video. Chad, if you drop 1 million subs in the next 10 minutes, then I will share that video on the internet. Yeah, that's how it goes. Good stuff. Yeah. So anyway, I'm excited for the dub. Finals around the corner. Last game tomorrow night, game 5, which is going to be fun, and then the final start Friday. So that was excited to see that over the weekend play out too. Yeah, it was a big weekend in college football. Obviously, we're trying to spend and V, you got anything else from the weekend that kind of stood out to you besides, big vibes in the NFL? Should we just jump to that?
Let's jump right into it. There's a lot going on this week in the NFL.
Danny, I'll give you 30 seconds to talk about this. The USA disappointed in the Ryder Cup. Any thoughts on how it happened in the Ryder Cup? You want to talk about that before we jump to that?
I mean, look, Team Europe was absolutely stacked. The biggest thing USA had going for them was the home crowd advantage. That was just an absolute dud. And, people are going back and forth if they were too rude or if their chants are never going to compete with European chants. It's just not even close. And,
right.
Again, it's just like the skill level on Europe was slightly better. It was just a matter of, again, reclaiming the cup. I mean, you don't want to say the extra incentive helps, but that is the case in a lot of these Ryder Cups and playing on your home turf. And it just didn't come to fruition. They couldn't dig themselves out of the hole. They had the chance late on Sunday, but it was too little too late. And USA couldn't capitalize on a lot of putting, and some of the pairing was questionable by Keegan Bradley. They got to look themselves in the mirror and really figure out what to do in 2 more years.
Yeah, it was really funny being in Arrowhead watching an NFL game, watching these motherfuckers next to me sweat out the Ryder Cup. I was like, boys, we're watching football. Come on now. What are we doing? No, it was electric.
It got so frustrating, because with the quad box and YouTube TV and stuff, I had it, and then we had the Ryder Cup, and it was so many of these matches, USA's there and they had the chance to win the whole. They just couldn't hit 7 to 10 foot birdie putts. Meanwhile, Europe's either hitting really long ones or they're tying it with these long par putts. And again, you got to give credit where credit's due. But I mean, they clutched up when they needed, and Team USA did not. I mean, Colin Morikawa with a mid-year, he's there doing nothing. And sorry, I went over my 30 seconds, but just a bad show.
No. I shorted you on the 30 seconds. It deserved a longer than 30 second stint. So you deserved it. But in that time, we did get a sub bank. So appreciate you guys for the sub. I'll have to get Mama Shags to send me the video to get the shotgun video out there for you guys, since you did drop a sub. Appreciate you guys. Just as a reminder, we don't do this as often as we should. You can support the channel. This content will always be free. We'll always be live with you guys every single day. But if you're feeling so frisky, if we've helped you make some money and you guys enjoy the vibes, we appreciate you guys dropping a sub on the channel on Twitch. You can follow us and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. It helps grow the content. Send it to your friends. Send it to all you guys. If you like sports, if you like the vibes, come and kick it with us. We go live every day. We get frisky with you guys talking sports and kicking it. So send it to your friends. Get after it. Yeah, I'll hit tonight. If we hit tonight, I'll sub. Let's go. Okay. Let's go. Give me a banger. Let's get after it, man. We're going to talk both games. But before we do that, we're going to play our new favorite game, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So this is all about the NFL. And we want one team for good, one team that was kind of bad, and one team that was just downright ugly. DB with the new haircut. Let's get after it, man. Give us your good, give us your bad, and give us your ugly. What you got this week?
Yeah, I was going to target Kansas City for the good, but I feel like one of you guys may hit that, so I'll go in a little bit of a different direction here. I'm going to go with the good with the Patriots. I will omit from saying my Bears, the good for hanging on, because there was a lot of ugly in that game, B, but the Patriots were pretty much good all around. We had talked about this on Friday. It appeared like it was a great spot for New England. And, in terms of it, SPJ, I think you laid 5 in the hook with them, or it was Adam, whoever did. We were all kind of siding in that direction. We mentioned taking them in Survivor. The Panthers coming off a huge win against the Falcons the week prior. So maybe that's why this line started out a little bit low, then started slowly getting bet up to New England, and they just pounced on them 42-13 did the Patriots, a team that a lot of people were enamored with in the offseason coming into this year. A little bit slow start right out of the gates, but this is the win they needed in the Mike Vrabel era. This is the win that Drake May needed for some confidence, even though he only completed 14 passes on 17 attempts. I mean, he didn't really need to do much. So despite not the craziest offensive performance out of him, they still put up 42 points. But I think it's just more of a recognition of, well, yes, the Panthers shocked everybody last week, just completely embarrassing their division opponent, the Atlanta Falcons. It's not something to be expected every single week out of them. So, very good win for the Patriots. And because of just, again, looking at the box score with that final result, they get my good tag for this week, fellas.
I like it. I had a little bit of a different good. I figured somebody was going to take it, so I figured that was a good one. Sauceman, you like this one?
Yeah, I like the Patriots. They looked fantastic in that matchup with the Panthers. And again, it is the Panthers, but you got to handle matchups that you're supposed to handle. They came in as favored by 5.5, 6 points, depending on where you got the line. I think they looked really good. Both the pass game, the defense looks a lot better. And I think that Vrabel's got this team headed in the right direction. I like that.
You also know how your bread is buttered, Danny, because we got a lot of Pats fans in the chat, so they're feeling really good about kicking it off with the Patriots being good. All right, what's your bad for the week, my man?
All right. Maybe this is a little bit just, getting on V's nerves here, but I'm going to say the bad is the Packers. I mean, you can't allow 40 points to the Dallas Cowboys here, my man. And look, I mean, this is me just, kind of hoping it would have turned into a loss as a Bears fan, but also just hating ties. I think they should have just went for the win at the end. Who cares about the damn tie? It's week, 4 of the NFL season. And they got so lucky that the clock didn't go out with that, that pass that just fell. That was ridiculous. Look, it's not too crazy to think that the Cowboys were in this game, right? Because again, it's prime time. The Cowboys had a lot to play for in the sense of Micah Parsons coming back to town. Like SPJ, when we talked about the first game of the year, when it was the Cowboys and Eagles, a team that wanted to go out there and go, man, we don't need Micah Parsons. We could play inspired. It's a division opponent, all this, all that. They kept it close. Yes, their defense is just brutal, and you saw that on display against the Giants. You saw that on display against the Bears. Heck, obviously you saw it last night against the Packers, although that was a bit more expecting for Green Bay to be able to put up some points. But, it's just, Green Bay defensively, and V could speak to this more than I can. We still think, at least I assume most people still think this is a top-tier Green Bay defense, but we got to be careful with who we're crowning Super Bowl champions after the first 2 weeks of the season. No, they're not as bad as what happened with Cleveland, and no, their defense isn't as bad as what transpired last night, but clearly it's still a team with a lot of flaws, and it's going to take a whole season to correct it, and that's what playing an entire NFL year is all about. But yeah, I still think there's just so many red flags with this team to where I would not put them in legit Super Bowl contention conversation. I think their ceiling has been and still is NFC Championship. And that's, again, I swear I'm being objective here as a Bears fan because I know where the Bears are. Trust me. Believe me, I do. The Bears are not a playoff team despite being 2-2 and should be 3-1. But V, I mean, man, I'm sure you're more upset about this than anything I've said. So, curious your thoughts on that performance.
I'm super upset. The defense didn't look great. I'm not going to sit here and complain about the stripes, but I do think there were a bunch of missed calls on that defensive line. Micah generated 9 pressures. He did get the sack at the end, but I think the main problem was Devontae Wyatt. He's been fantastic for the Packers this season at the defensive tackle position. And for 28 minutes of that game, while he was still in the game, we gave up 2 points. Those 2 points came on a blocked point after returned to the end zone. After he left the game with the injury, they gave up 38 points, boys. And they weren't generating the pressure that they were before. They weren't able to stop the run the same way. We saw Javonte Williams, both in overtime, really just start to break off 8-9 yard runs, one after the other. And a lot of it had to do with the lack of interior defense. I think that this is a Packers team that is losing some key pieces on both the defensive and offensive line at the wrong time. But like you said, there's no excuses. They have the stars. They finally came out and played an offensive game that was to my liking, airing out the ball. Jordan Love had 379 yards, 3 touchdowns. But to me, the problem was you were playing to not lose that game. Right. And sure, that's exactly what happened. You didn't lose, but LaFleur was playing to not lose that game, especially in overtime. 4 minutes left. You have 2 timeouts. There is so much you can do with the time there. They're running. Jacobs is playing fantastic. He's breaking off big runs, but why are you hurrying to the line? Why are you taking your time to call the next play? And I think that more than anything was why they lost that game. It was play calling. Coming from a LaFleur guy, I think he's one of the top coaches in the league. I think he's been fantastic. He's developed Jordan Love, but I'm tired of this. It happened last week against the Browns. It's why we lost that game. It happened again this week against the Cowboys, and it's why we didn't win this game. And it's got to get better. You got to get more aggressive, especially in a division with two coaches that are looking to slit your throat in Dan Campbell and Kevin O'Connell. Those guys are not looking to play conservatively. If you're going to play in this division and compete, you have to come in with a cutthroat mentality. And LaFleur hasn't had it through 4 games.
I had Packers written down as my bad too, so you kind of beat me to the punch there, Danny. I have another one for the back.
They were my bad and ugly. Just want to say so.
Oh wow, cross the panel. Chat loves it too. No, I think it's. I mean, also, can we all agree? Just ugly for the NFL. Can we just get rid of the fucking ties, please? Can we figure this out? Can we just go to the college rule or figure something out or something?
Right.
I had an idea. It was just no field goals. No field goals. 15-minute quarter, no field goals. You have to go for it on 4th down. If you don't get it, you don't get it. You're within the goal line. Like that would.
So, but still, first to score wins.
First to score wins. Yeah, like just like each team gets one chance, but you cannot kick a field goal. You have to go for the touchdown.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah, and then the other team has to go the other way, and they have to score a touchdown. You can't walk away on a field goal either.
I honestly don't hate the way college does it. So I don't mind the college rule, which I'm not a huge college football guy, but I know, obviously, I watched that Oregon game and how that all ended. So it's like, I don't hate the way that works out. It is kind of a weird situation. You get down, you get the ball at 25 and you kind of go for it. But I kind of like that. No field goals. You just got to go for it. Get your first downs. If you don't get it, turn the ball over. See you later. I kind of dig that too. What do you think, Danny?
I mean, that would obviously be the more fun route to take. I don't think the NFL will ever adapt that just because their whole idea of overtime is to limit the amount of extra playing that these guys have to do after already 4 quarters of getting their asses kicked and, only limited time rest before the next game. So I think for them, right, if you're the NFL, they keep talking about adding more teams, adding more games to the year, generating money and more time, which potentially increases the risk of injuries, people not playing, that hurts their revenue potentially. So for them, it's to try to keep these players safe, right? So that's why I don't think they're going to adapt the college rules, which would add potentially more action because even though they go to the 2-point conversion pretty quickly, it's still just a lot of stuff happening. These makes a lot of sense. I would actually be down for that and think that would be the better course of action. I don't think they will because obviously they're not going to eliminate the field goal aspect of it. But if I were in control of the NFL, that would I would present that one. I actually think that's not too bad. I would love for them to do a college one too. I just don't think it's would ever come to fruition, unfortunately.
I think that makes a lot of sense. And that would probably lead to a bunch less ties. It's really rare that you have a bunch of ties. So it's not like this is a common thing, but like, we got to admit that when that game ended last night and it was a tie, everybody was just like,
it's like what you waited this entire time. And like people, I'm sure, especially on the East Coast, are like, all right, I'll stay up. I won't go to bed. And you're just there. It's like, yeah, like literally like, you're just like, wait, what? Like there's 80 points in this game and there's not a winner. What are we doing?
Yeah, this is the biggest blue ball of all time. Yeah, Chad has thoughts about it too. I'm sure you guys can figure it out. All right, let's keep it going. So give us your ugly, Danny. And if you say the one I think that you should,
I'm not.
I'll let you take it if you want to. Chad will love it. It's the only correct answer. But if you have another one, you can go.
The only reason that I'm not saying that, along with some others, is because again, I look at it based on like relatively, like expectation almost. Right? Yeah, like it wasn't the most outlandish thing of what occurred with your boys, but I will say ugly is the Baltimore Ravens as my pick with SPJ in attendance. Man, he intimidated that team and he made that defense scared out there screaming alongside Shags, baby. 37 points to the Chiefs. Yes, it's Patrick Mahomes. Yes, it's Kansas City. But this is an offense that has been struggling, relatively speaking, for quite some time based on Patrick Mahomes' standard. It was a really good spot for Kansas City. Don't get me wrong. We were all talking about the Mahomes underdog at home narrative. Everybody was. And yes, it played out. But the thing that's ugly is his defense, man. I mean, it's every single week except for, what was it, the game against Cleveland with Joe Flacco, who can barely throw the ball forward. Sure, that makes sense. They limited them to, 10 points, whatever it was. But this defense has a lot of issues, and they just lost Roquan for the next few weeks, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know exactly how long it is, but it's only going to get tougher on the defensive side of the ball. And we were talking about this a little bit earlier, and I'll wrap this up, SPJ, but on any given wager where it's like, you think about this team and their Super Bowl, we're looking at the futures odds. I was going to bring this up. Like last year at the beginning of the season, Philadelphia was a team who played really ugly, right? But they found a way still to get the job done. And it was more so there was ugliness happening offensively, which could easily be fixed with the talent they have. And you know what? They get the wins, but it doesn't pass the sexy eye test. Baltimore, you can't get away with that if your defense is that bad. So there's a reason why Philadelphia can hang on and get away with those gritty games because their defense is so great. They were built deep in the trenches. You can't get away with that in the AFC with a terrible defense. I don't care what your offense looks like. It's like you can be an okay defense, but right now they're just ugly. So that's why they get that label for me, fellas.
Yeah, this was one of mine written down. The Sauce Man.
I mean, I have no argument. They're bad. It looked like now reports are going around Lamar quit on them or whatever it was. Was it a benching? I don't know. It's just not fun from what I'm seeing in Baltimore right now. They got countless injuries on the defensive side as well. Marlon Humphrey hasn't been good, and I just ugly. It's all around ugly.
It was ugly in person, man. I'm so glad Lamar Jackson cashed his rushing yards line. And
I know, dude. I was tweaking too.
I was going to be so pissed because I mean the Chiefs was never a sweat. I mean that plus 2.5 was air. But yeah, this rushing yards was definitely sweaty, and then he obviously didn't play the fourth quarter, so that was fine. But yeah, good picks. I think these we can all agree that you kind of hit the nail on the head with the good and the bad and the ugly. Sauce Man, what do you got for us with your good and your bad and your ugly?
The good, I'm gonna say it. I don't care what anybody says. I'm gonna say it. The Colts. The Colts are good. The Colts are good. They're 3-1 and they should be 4-0. 2 touchdowns taken off the board because of Adonai Mitchell. Or not Adonai Mitchell.
Yeah, I think he was one of them.
It was Adonai Mitchell. It was both of them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He walks into the end zone and fumbles it out of the back of the end zone. Oh my God. That drives me insane. And then the second one was even worse. A holding call as a receiver as Jonathan Taylor breaks it open. 14 points taken off of the board against a Rams team that you really cannot do that against. The defense looked all right. I know they gave up a shit ton of points, but I think the Colts are good. Daniel Jones has looked good. He looks like he's developing a rapport with his receivers. Tyler Warren looked fantastic. They're using the kind of scheming that you're seeing from like high-level coaches. Tyler Warren taking a QB sneak in from the 2-yard line for a touchdown. These are the kind of things that you want to see from a team that is going to put up points and a team that's going to win games. I think that the Colts are good. I think Daniel Jones is good, and everything I'm seeing from this team, from the offensive line to the quarterback to the wide receivers, the Colts are good, man.
I mean, they looked good in a losing effort. The fact that the Rams covered is miraculous. It's just crazy that they ended up winning and covering in that game. I'll take the luck on that one. Yeah, no, Danny and I are on the Rams there, and that was my staff pick. So thank God they got the job done.
Sometimes it flips, right? Last week it was them not covering because of Philly. This week it was them covering, right?
Yeah, crazy game.
Yeah, I actually really respect this pick, V, because I was sitting there watching this thing going, son of a bitch. All right, I guess Daniel Jones and the Colts are good. Like, you know what? I'm going to eat my crow here thinking the Rams are going to roll them, all this and that. And I'm looking at this box score, though, and it still is perplexing. And you nailed it, by the way. You know, incredibly fortunate with those touchdowns called back. But, like, Daniel Jones threw 2 interceptions. Stafford threw for over 370 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. You look at the total yards, Rams 462, Colts 333. And it's so perplexing. It's like, yeah, it's like obviously the Rams won this game, but yeah, if you're watching it, you would not have those thoughts whatsoever. So it's a very, very confusing type of game. Yeah, Puka's an absolute stud. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I guess I still want to be resistant to calling them good, but I think it's like they've earned my respect now officially is how I'll kind of look at this Colts team.
Yeah, I think that's fair. SPJ?
No, the only thing I will say about this, just since Austin brought it up in chat before you get to your bad, I think I'm going to put some stock on Puka Nacua Offensive Player of the Year. Because as long as he doesn't get hurt, I think that he would be my front runner. I mean, he might be the front runner now. I'll look at the odds and see what it looks like. But he's just been, and again, I've watched snap for snap a lot and been following the Rams as a team that I really like, which I'll talk about them in a minute as well. But I mean, he just is unstoppable, man. Like the way they utilize him in this offense, the way they move him around, he just always gets open. He's one of those wide receivers that is just really difficult to guard because he can play every position and he's so big bodied too. A lot of these ex receivers that play in this position that you can move around like that aren't big. I guess Debo is a decent comparison, but Puka's, I think, a little bit more durable and a little bit more has a better catch radius than Debo, a little bit more of a wide receiver in situations. He's
He
just so
feels
difficult
like
to
Cooper
handle.
Cup during the Triple Crown years,
Yes, very
Yeah,
good
it does.
right?
Yeah, it does. It really
By the
does.
way, the some of the odds I'm looking at: Puka the short shot plus 260, Jonathan Taylor 4-1, Bijan's plus 550, Christian McCaffrey plus 650, Amon-Ra St. Brown I think wouldn't be a terrible look at 15-1 based on the numbers. The Bijan thing at plus 550, because I know you were at the game, SPJ, so I don't think you were watching this, but I was watching that Commanders Falcons game and I'm going, why the hell is Algier in the, because it was like that clinching last drive where it was still 1-score game and they kept having Algier in the back. I get that they do that near the red zone, but when it's that crucial point of the game and you're not right up along the goal line, I was very confused why Bijan wasn't in for any of those snaps. So that's the thing that still scares me with Bijan, is he's not utilized to the full extent. I get why, but I'm saying from pure statistical standpoint and betting it, I think that could hinder him a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of see that too. When I watch this guy play, I was saying this to a friend. He brings the kind of elusiveness back to the running back position that we grew up watching. Guys like LaDainian Tomlinson, guys that were super shifty, whose footwork you are watching are not just bruising running backs. And watching him play, the way he cuts through holes, absolutely fantastic. I think he has like more receiving yards than guys like Devontae Adams and then other big name receivers, but also more rushing yards than other big name running backs. Like, he's doing everything for this Atlanta offense. He should have had another touchdown. I think he had a 69-yard reception that was brought down at the 1 or the 2.
He started slowing down. For whatever reason, he looked so slow on that play from what we've been accustomed to with Bijan.
Yeah, I think the gas tank was running on empty there.
I think that it's a good. We don't have time to keep going into this offensive player of the year conversation, but I think there's a lot of value out there for a lot of those guys, like you just mentioned. I mean, I like the Puka one, but I mean, Bijan, Amon-Ra is a good shout too. So it'll be an interesting conversation as we get into the deeper part of the season. All right, Sauce, give us your bad for this week.
My bad is the Raiders. The Raiders have been bad, man. Yeah, 1-3. They had a chance to win it at the end there with the field goal, allowed the field goal to be blocked. And not just that, but like you said, Danny, there wasn't a lot of stuff to love with the Bears from last week. That was a very winnable game for the Raiders, and they just came out and laid an egg. It's kind of become the norm now from what we've seen. You're seeing Geno Smith turn the ball over at like the highest rate we've ever seen him do that. The offense doesn't look good. We finally saw Austin Genty kind of have his breakout game, but a lot of that was because he was generating broken tackles. I wouldn't say the offensive line made too many strides, and I think just because of that, the Raiders look bad. They're in a division that includes the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the 3-1 Chargers. With the way you're looking right now, it's just not looking fun for the Raiders, and it's not looking like it's going to be a good time. I know there's a lot of hope surrounding this team with Genty, with Pete Carroll coming in, but so far they've just been bad.
Yeah, I know DB's probably like, woohoo, they were bad this week and my Bears got the job done. But yeah, I mean, I don't think this team's going to go anywhere this particular season. Genty finally had a good game, as you mentioned, but great shout as well. And the fact that he had to do it by kind of breaking a lot of tackles, because the Bears don't really do that very well either. But yeah, I don't know if this team's going to compete for anything. I didn't think you were going to pull the Raiders, though. Interesting one. That's a good one.
Yeah, they disappointed me. I had some high hopes for this team. I thought Geno's going to come in and kind of cook, and the offenses look lackluster. He's turning the ball over, and I want no part of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very appropriate pick. I mean, whatever team lost this game could easily have been put in this category for bad. Sure. I mean, you know, the Bears with their turnovers, Max Crosby looked like a freaking Hall of Famer out there. And then like the egregious snap that the Bears had where it went past Caleb when they're in scoring position. And the other turnover when Max Crosby intercepted it. Also, the Bears were in scoring, in the red zone. They're in a great scoring opportunity. On paper, I mean, I'm curious what other people think about this. Like, when you account for that, like the Bears probably were the rightful outright winner in this game. But at the same time, obviously, Geno's picks were very bad, but it wasn't in like as crucial of situations, I would say. And Ashton Genty, yeah, we all kind of projected him to have an outstanding game, which he did, 3 touchdowns. The Bears' run defense is terrible. I give credit to the Bears because, again, I was saying this morning. Any other season, they find a way to lose that game. I don't care how ugly it looks. The fact that you ended up with the W is a change in the culture right there. And to get those 50-50 spots going their way, got to give credit to them. But yeah, luckily for the Bears as well, Geno was a nightmare.
Yeah, as Austin said too, we could all agree that maybe ugly is just like 75% of the offensive line play across the NFL right now. Just absolutely atrocious. All right, Sauce Man, what's your ugly?
My ugly, it's not a team, man. It's MetLife Stadium and the fucking turf there. It cost my boy Malik Neighbors his ACL and his entire sophomore season. It cost a lot of me and my friends, shout out Betsky, a lot of our fantasy leagues. And honestly, just hate to see a kid that has so much potential and is so fucking good be brought down by this kind of situation. And you can tell me whatever you want. The data supports it. On turf, players are more likely to sustain injuries, especially ACL, MCL injuries. This is a situation where we are not protecting the players. And we see it right now with the World Cup. They are coming in and bringing in temporary grass for the World Cup because they don't want their players playing on the shit that these football players are playing on week in and week out. Yes, the latest victim was Malik Neighbors, but other big names, Nick Bosa went down with an ACL tear here at MetLife. We've seen Sterling Shepard, Wan'Dale Robinson, two other Giants receivers suffer the same injury. Both guys that played a lot of their career, well, Wan'Dale his entire career here at MetLife. I don't like it. I think that it needs to be expunged from the entire league. And if our investment in these players is so important, why are we not investing on the field where they battle every single week? It was beyond frustrating. It had nothing to do with the throw. It was a broken play. He just went up for it, and the ACL went like that. It's a sad thing to see, but it seems avoidable, and it seems like something that ownership, whether it's just the Giants or other teams, I know still use turf. I just hate it, and it needs to be taken out of the league.
Agreed.
100%, man. I mean, I didn't know you were going to pull this, but this was a great shout. And it's a deeper conversation about this, NFLPA having to bring this up. And obviously with your doctor background, you know what this does to the players and their health and safety and things like that too. But I just don't understand why this is something that hasn't been looked at or dealt with. I mean, they have rules. They've changed the rule book for concussions. They've changed the rule book. So we have the horse collar tacker to be removed. So the hip drop doesn't exist. Like, why can't we put some fucking grass out there, man? You can't tell me that we can't have the technology that exists that where they can have these fields just as pristine as you brought the soccer pool. When I was living in London, I would go to the Emirates like almost every week to watch Arsenal play. Boys, they got the staff in the NFL to make sure that these pitches are taken care of the way that they need to be taken care of to have grass out there. Let's get this shitty turf out of here and let's get some grass back out there.
$1 billion franchises. Come on.
Well, it's like, remember week 1 with the Bears and the Vikings, because you have idiots like that where they have concerts the week before, so then they get lazy. And, again, it's like they have more than enough manpower, resources to get it done. They're just trying to be, cost effective, a lot of these individual franchises. But yeah, hopefully, it sucks that it's going to take this for it to happen, but I do think they're on the right track to making that come to fruition in itself.
The Giants have lost 3 wide receivers on their own. Like, you as the home team, at some point, you should come on, right?
Amen, brother. It's us against the world, baby. Let's go. Since it's about 40 minutes into the show, this might be a record for the amount of time that we've got not talked a single bet with you guys, but we appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with us. I'm going to go through mine really fast, just so we can get to the bets. My good, the Chiefs. I was in attendance. This offense finally looks good with Xavier Worthy. I think that they have actually turned a corner a little bit. The defense looked a lot better too. We talked about the Ravens side of things. Maybe that was a benefit. But with Xavier Worthy on this offense looks like it can hum a lot better. So give me the good for the Chiefs. It's not just because I'm in Kansas City, but I do think that this team has turned a corner a little bit. It's crazy how you have
staring over him right now.
I was gonna say, Shaggy just right here.
There's like a gun on the side of my head. The other one I was gonna say was the Rams. We kind of talked about that a little bit more, but I mean I think this conversation about this division totally changed off of one game, right? Off of one NFL Sunday, and that takes me to the bad. The Chargers got boys. And I like this team. I think they are going to be good this year, but they blew that game against the Giants like you just talked about. I know Joe Alt got hurt too, which ended up hurting them a little bit. I think he's out with a high ankle sprain. He's going to be out for a few weeks, but you lose Neighbors, rookie quarterback starting. You got an elite defense. You got Justin Herbert. You need to take these wins, man, on the road. I know, Danny, you kind of picked the spot here, and this was probably the A side taking the Giants and the points, but the Chargers should have won this football game, and I think that there was a bad performance by them, and I think this could be a game they look back on and near the end of the season and go, damn, we should have won that game. That would have helped us out. And then, ugly. I had the Ravens circled, but I'm not going to spend more time on this. The Tennessee Titans are a terrible organization. They might be, boys, the worst team in the NFL. And I hate to say that as a fan, but you have to look at yourself in the mirror sometimes and just go, you know what? This team sucks ass. I'm going to watch them every day because I am a fan of this team, but this team is terrible. They might be the number one pick again, and maybe they need it. They need a lot of pieces. They need to probably fire their head coach. They need to do some changes in the organization on that level too. Chat, sorry that's something I had to bring up, but Tennessee Titans are my ugly this week. You could say the Panthers too, but at least the Panthers have a dub. The Tennessee Titans do not. So yeah, that's what I got. I didn't give you guys a lot of time to respond because chat wants to listen to us talk Monday Night Football. So let's jump, unless you guys have something real quick you want to say about mine 3.
No, I think you hit it right on the head. That's fantastic.
Yeah. All right. I love your MetLife pool. That was a good one.
Dude, I talked about this with the turf toe. That was frustrating to see Joe Burrow go down and he's going to miss 3 months with it. Now you've got Malik Neighbors, another elite wide receiver, elite on the offense. Just sucks to see.
Facts. Yeah. My mom just texted me and said the Tennessee Titans are diarrhea divers. So shout out my mom. Shout out Mama SPJ for listening.
She's fed up.
She's pissed. My mom texts me. She doesn't even watch the games with the sound on anymore, and she usually fucking turns that shit off at halftime now because she's so disappointed. High school ball is what she says. Shout out, Mom. All right, let's talk some Monday Night Football, boys. Doubleheader tonight. You guys can go read the scribbles from both of these fine gentlemen at bettingnews.com to get their in-depth analysis. We're going to talk about both of these games right now. Let's start off with the first game down in South Florida as the Miami Dolphins take on the New York Jets. We got a 2.5-point spread, a little bit towards the Dolphins here. The over-under set at 44.5. Danny, I know you wrote about this game at Betting News. I'll let you kind of tee us off here. We talked about this game a bit earlier on Any Given Wager, but had some more news today. So let's kind of look at it from this perspective here. What are you kind of looking at in this divisional matchup?
Yeah, so for anybody who missed it earlier, I'll kind of reiterate what we discussed. In terms of a side, last week I was looking at this game knowing we were going to talk about it, of course, and I figured I'd find myself backing the Dolphins -2 in the hook. Now, I still strongly lean in that direction, but my official plays are going to revolve around props, which I'll get to momentarily. It's just like the deeper you dive into this, you're like, do I really want to get involved with Miami? Because, I mean, man, offensively, they're 23rd in EPA. Success rate, they're 22nd. It appears they got back on track right after watching that Thursday night game against Buffalo, and Mike McDaniel presumably extended his leash because it was a competitive loss, but you don't really want to root for competitive losses, even though the Dolphins needed that. The biggest concern for them, though, is their defense, and they can make a quarterback like Justin Fields look like a much better quarterback than he actually is. As a Bears fan, we witnessed it all the times against inferior defenses, and that could certainly be the case tonight. I mean, they're 31st in EPA per play allowed. They're dead last in success rate allowed, and they absolutely struggle against the run. I know, SPJ, yourself included, and a lot of other people are infatuated with Breece Hall tonight. Completely get it. I was looking at some Braylon Allen props too, over 4.5 carries, but it was steamed like -$150. But if you get a better number than that, just something to keep in mind. With all of that being said, as much as I'm trashing this Miami defense, I still lean toward them because I do give the nod to the offensive personnel of Miami, because the Jets defense, for Aaron Glenn, defensive-minded head coach, they've been brutal up to this point in their own right. It's going to take longer than a few games for him to get his philosophy integrated, but still, I trust the offensive weaponry with Miami just a bit more. So, again, I lean that way, but that's not where my official plays are. My official plays are with the aforementioned Justin Fields, because I do think in order for them to keep this thing close and or win, it has to be with Justin Fields. It has to be with his legs. The Dolphins are blitzing at the highest rate in the National Football League right now, over 41%. So Fields is already going to be using his mobility. Now he's going to be forced out of the pocket even more so. The dude hates staying in there trying to make these quick throws. That's just not his game. And you already saw him rush for like 12 attempts, like almost 50 yards in game one against the Steelers, got 2 touchdowns. Had almost 50 rushing yards again the second game when he was taken out early, and that was only on 5 attempts. Now you're going up against this poor Miami run defense that specifically has struggled against other quarterbacks. Daniel Jones rushed 7 times for 26 yards. Drake May, 10 carries, 31 yards. Allen, efficient on just 4 carries. He ended up with 25 rushing yards. But I mean, you look at Daniel Jones, what he got like 2 rushing touchdowns. Like I said, Drake May got 1 score. So this leads me to not only betting Justin Fields over 8.5 rushing attempts, because I think, again, in order for them to move the ball, they're going to have to utilize his legs, but then also Justin Fields anytime touchdown at plus 225. I'm sure that number has moved. The last I saw it did. If you can get 2-1, I still think that's a viable approach. He's gotten the same amount of red zone carries as Braylon Allen, who's getting more than Breece Hall. So you're going to trust it with a guy who's essentially a running back in his own right in Justin Fields. And I think, it was kind of like surprising that they were giving you 2-1 in this specific situation with how bad of a defense Miami is. So if it was like plus 150 or anything like that, I wouldn't have taken it, V, but I thought that was a pretty good look. I know you're a big touchdown bettor yourself. So that one really stood out to me for tonight's game.
I actually really like the Fields look. I bet him as well. I have him at plus 225. I think that this is a game where it's a divisional matchup. Fields has not been good under pressure. He's actually one of the graded as one of the worst QBs under pressure this season. When he's not facing that same pressure, he's been elite. But like you said, Miami is going to bring the blitz. It's something that they've done and they're going to do again this week. I think because of that, he's going to have to get out. And once you get into the red zone, once you see that blitz coming in, you got to think a guy like Justin Fields is thinking run first before he's sitting waiting for the play to develop.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit earlier with this situation, and I like the Fields play a lot. And as I said to you earlier, Danny, on any given wager, the last time Justin Fields played in Miami, had a huge game. This is with the Bears in 2022, so to chalk it up for that, it was 3 years ago. But he still had a great game against this team in this stadium for 100 yards on the ground and a touchdown. So I think I like this play. I like the Fields yards too. I don't think you can go wrong taking his yards if you think that he can get some stuff done on the ground. To kind of lean into what I had before Sauceman kind of closes us out talking about this game, if he has some bets he wants to discuss too. I took Breece Hall. It's a little chalkier, over 81.5 rushing and receiving yards. You kind of touched on this Dolphins rushing defense, 29th in rushing yards allowed, 22nd in receiving yards allowed. I just think that the Jets are going to have to control the tempo in this game. It's a road game. They want to kind of stick around, make sure that the Dolphins don't try to turn this into a track meet. And Breece Hall's in a really good matchup. All 3 number 1 running backs against this team throughout the first 3 weeks of the season have absolutely crushed this rushing and receiving yards. Jonathan Taylor in week 1 for the Colts, Ramondre Stevenson in week 2. And then, I forgot who they played last week. I was trying to do it all off the dome. But all 3 starting running backs against the James Cook for the Bills went over his rushing and receiving yards line too. So all 3 starting running backs have had good success against this Dolphins team. I think that we're going to see the same thing from Breece Hall. Again, if you want to take the rushing yards, feel free to do that. But I do like roping in the receiving with these kind of dual threat backs. I think that he can catch a couple swing passes and could even take one to the house. So I really like Hall. I really like your Fields play too. And I think both of them could be live for a touchdown as well. Sauceman, do you have any plays that you have in this game before we move to the second game?
Just Fields. I like the Fields touchdown. I do also have a couple bucks on Garrett Wilson to get in the end zone. I think that this is a guy who's playing with no other real receivers on this team. Fields doesn't look at anybody else. Tyrod Taylor didn't really look at anybody else. And if you look at the depth chart, it's Alan Lazard, I think, as their wide receiver 2 listed right now. So it's just not an easy place for a quarterback to be playing right now. I think that their tight end position has been lackluster this year. So you got to look at a guy like Garrett Wilson, think he's going to see a good amount of targets. And you're going up against a Miami team that has kind of been picked apart at different points in the season this year. I think this is a good matchup for him. This is also a place where he kind of thrives. He's great against man coverages. I think he ranks 11th in yards per route run against man coverages. And this is the Miami team that's employing man coverage at the 10th highest rate in the league this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the Wilson play a lot too. The yards you could take or the catches even, either one. Fields obviously has a big time connection with him from his Ohio State days and has had good games even without Fields in the lineup too. So good way to take Wilson either way. One more shout before we move past this game. I also like Devon Achane. It's a little chalky too, but I do like his rushing and receiving yards line. I think that he should have some success. We kind of talked about this earlier, but this Jets defense has been lauded over the last couple seasons as being pretty staunch, top 10 in a lot of categories. Newsflash chat, they've been kind of bad to start the season. Aaron Glenn has not brought over that defensive prowess to this team. They've been getting gashed in the run game, and they have not been very good in the trenches. So something to look out for in this game. I think that the Dolphins could get Achane loose, and Achane's had some good success against them in the past as well. So I do like the rushing and receiving for Achane. I don't have it as an individual bet, but I did put it in some parlays. So I think he could have some success on the Dolphin side of things too. Any more thoughts on this one before we move to the other Monday Night Football game?
Not too much. I think we covered it pretty well.
All right, let's get after it. Let's go to the second game. I'll let Sauceman kind of lead us off after I tee us up. The Denver Broncos -7.5 here. The Bengals looking to come to town to maybe play spoiler, 7.5-point dogs on the road. Over under set at 44.5 here. V, I know you wrote about this one. You guys can go peep his scribbles at bettingnews.com to see what he has to say about it, but I'll let you kind of talk about it right now. What are we looking at here, man?
It's an ugly matchup, man. The Bengals, once again, it's another season marred by injury. They're missing their all-world quarterback in Joe Burrow. He's been fantastic when he is on the field, and it just feels like at this point, if it's not Burrow, it's T. If it's not T, it's Jamar, and they just can't stay healthy. Not just that, but another thing that they can't do, something that really helps a backup quarterback, is run the ball. You guys have probably seen this, but Chase has not looked good. Chase Brown out of the backfield. He is averaging, I think, just under 2 yards per carry this season, 90-some carries for 47 yards. The run game is completely absent. They are unable to protect the quarterback. I think that they rank bottom 5 in pass blocking and run blocking. This is a team that is just not good. The defensive side, they have a lot of young pieces that you would think are good. They have Trey Hendrickson on the defensive side, who is also fantastic, but they just have not been able to put it together. I think a lot of that has to do with Zach Taylor, but it's hard to blame the head coach when he hasn't had a full roster that's just fully healthy for 16 games. The one year that happened, they went to the Super Bowl. On the Broncos side of things, this is a team that's kind of underperforming through 3 weeks. This is a team who everybody was a little bit more hyped on entering the season. Now they're 1-2 with back-to-back road losses, one against the Colts and one against the Chargers. I think this is a team that now you're coming back home. Defense is where you kind of hang your hat. The defense has to get it together. Patrick Surtain has to be better. And I think all around, this defense needs to step it up a little bit, because the offense was never going to be generational. It was never going to be the reason you win games. That was the defense.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And I know we talked about it a little bit earlier. I know you have a defensive prop for us, which is really exciting and spicy, that chat's going to dig in just a second. I know you have a touchdown score too. Before you jump into both of those props, do you have a lean on a side in this game? Do you kind of feel like that the Broncos are going to end up running away with this one, or do you kind of feel more that this game could stay within the number?
The line felt a little bit short to me when I was looking at it, just with how bad the Bengals looked last week. But I think there's something to be said about losing that badly. 48-10, worst loss in franchise history. I think that it's a little bit, you come into that next week with maybe a little bit more energy, not wanting to lose that bad. I also think that's why books are maybe taking that into account. But it's just hard for me to think that they're going to generate points. Browning has been really, really bad. The offensive line has been even worse. If you're looking at just him under pressure, 4 of his 5 interceptions have come under pressure. And this is a team that, one, cannot protect the QB, but now they're going up against one of the best pass rushing defenses in the league. They have 12 sacks on the season, which ranks 5th, but that's after not having played their week 4 game yet. They are first in sacks per game with 4 per game. They are winning at a high rate, the entire defensive line. They have a 10% sack rate, and they're generating an unsurmountable percentage of pressures. I think because of that, he's gonna make a mistake today, boys, and I'm looking for Pat Surtain to get us an interception. Like I said, Browning's been really, really bad under pressure. 4 of his 5 interceptions have come under pressure, and this Broncos team is bringing everybody they can. They have 2 defensive ends that rank in the top 20 for defensive pressures. They rank number 1 in sacks per game with 4 sacks per game, and we saw what Browning's done. In his first game when he came in for Joe Burrow, 3 interceptions. In that second game, 2 interceptions. And all of these interceptions are coming when he's under duress or he's making a mistake. This is a situation where we've seen him go to his number 1, number 2 wide receiver for a majority of the team's target share, and I think that continues. But when you have a guy like Pat Surtain just kind of lurking, he's waiting for the QB to make a mistake. I think this plus 500 line also feels just a tad bit short with the fact he only had 4 interceptions last year in his Defensive Player of the Year. This is a situation where he doesn't have one yet this year. This is a bad team coming in with a worse quarterback. Just give me Jake Browning to make one mistake and for that to land in Pat Surtain's arms.
I mean, this is a good way to play his interception. He's been turning the ball over like crazy. His INC, I think, is juiced to high heaven. I want to say it's in like the pretty much minus 200 range. So you're just picking the best guy on the opposite team that's probably going to be there. He doesn't get thrown out a lot because he is so elite, but maybe they try to test him because, I mean, this kind of ties into what I like in this game. I'm taking the bait, man. Give me Jamar Chase over 63.5 receiving yards. I know Surtain's probably going to have him in a car seat for most of this game, but this is one of the best wide receivers in football. And if you're going to give me a line under 70 for this guy, I know it's in the altitude, but this is the last point I'm not going to sell you guys on taking Jamar Chase's receiving yards. Like, you know all the stats, you know that he's really good. Like, come on now. I'm not going to sit here and give you all that. But what I will say is this guy is an elite player. And elite players on Monday Night Football, the last four times that Jamar Chase has played on Monday Night Football, all of that was with Joe Burrow, so take that into account. Over 100 yards in all four of those games with touchdowns and multiple like 10, 11, 12 catch games in all four of them. So just a big player, big time moment. They need him to step up. Also, maybe the Bengals are looking at what the Ravens did yesterday and going, hey, we still have a chance in this division, boys. If we can come out here, we can get a big result. So I just am going with the narrative of the fact that this guy's an elite player. They're going to still – Jake Browning is, he's not been great, but he's going to get Jamar the football. Yeah, I had a down week last week, but what did he do the week prior? What did he have, like 13 catches for 160 yards or whatever the hell it was? So I'm thinking that we're going to get similar to that level of target share for Jamar today. And then I just am hoping that he breaks a big one and gets a lot of this maybe in one catch or even all in one. Maybe he has a 70-yard bomb or something. So I'm just kind of riding with that, kind of going with the plums here and hoping that he has another big-time Monday night performance.
I mean, after he fumbled last week, you'd think he's coming out with a little bit more, energy this week. Yeah,
I was just going to say, to your point, again, we discussed this morning because I'm glad you brought it up because it kind of led me to this. And not that I've played it, but because of this game in general, the only thing I'm sweating out is the second leg of my teaser to get Denver down here to -1 and a hook. And thankfully I am because, this one's kind of, you're hard pressed to find some solid bets here. But I think the Chase over 5.5 receptions would be my favorite play. Because again, when you get the backup quarterback in the mix, think about, and I'm not trying to equate Justin Fields to a backup, but with a guy who struggles with passing, you're not completely comfortable there. You're just going to absolutely just lace it into your top receiver as often as possible. Let your superstar make the play like Fields does with Garrett Wilson, the familiarity, the first read. That's going to be a backup situation here with Jake Browning and Jamar Chase because they know realistically on the road in Denver with the altitude against a still solid defense that has had their red flags, but still a good defense. Browning's not going to win the game for you, right? You need a miracle from your defense and you're going to need your superstars to step up. So if it's going to be those shorter routes because the Broncos go, hey, as long as we don't get beat, so be it. Get Browning acclimated, get him comfortable, throw screens, throw, some kind of short routes, whatever it is, to just get Chase involved early and often. That would lead me to looking at him over 5.5 receptions for my favorite prop if I had to play one. In terms of the side, like I said, I had the teaser. V, since I know you covered this game, and I already mentioned this with SPJ and Adam earlier, I was kind of looking at this game like how I would correlate it. The more we've been talking about it, the more I gravitate toward the under in this spot because I'm not completely convinced on the Broncos offense in the first place. And it's not to say I love the Bengals defense, but as you mentioned, last week was an utter embarrassment. You got to get a little bit better effort from them here. But I think if you fall in line with believing that the Bengals cover 7.5, I think that would correlate with this game being lower scoring. Because again, like the Bengals are realistically not going to win by anything outstanding that Jake Browning does, right? I mean, their offense isn't going to win them the game. It's limiting the potential of Bo Nix. You know that Denver's defense is going to be stout. They have a good enough defense to keep them in any game. A close, ugly, gritty type of victory is how this team is built right now. And I just think they could scrape by in one of those ugly fashions. And I like that you're getting it over 44. I mean, if it was 24-20, that makes a lot of sense to me. We were talking about that the last Thursday game. I mean, we were saying 26.5 seemed like a lot of points, SPJ, for this Broncos team, regardless of who you're playing. But yeah, I think if you like the Bengals here, I think it's going to be a slower, grosser type of game.
Yeah, I don't like just to talk about your teaser. I don't know if I would say I like the Bengals even to cover this number, but I do think that there might be a little bit more firepower in the tank here just because of that. And I think that maybe a 10-point game is something we see. But like I said, I think that this is going to be a game where their defense is going to be exposed more than anything. And I know that the offense hasn't looked great for Denver, but like I wrote about this in my piece too. I think this is the perfect get-right game for a 1-2 team looking to get back in the win column. Look for a team that's off back-to-back road losses. It's never easy to go on the road for back-to-back weeks. Yeah. It's even tougher when those two teams are the Chargers and the Colts, two teams that do not play close to each other. You know what I mean? Now you're back in Denver, back acclimated to your own altitude, and you're feeling good in front of that home crowd. You're still undefeated at home. It might just be 1-0, but I do think that, like JJ's talking about it in the chat right now, I really like Bo Nix's passing yards today. I think he's going to kind of air it out a little bit. The other reason I like it is because the Bengals have no pass rush. Yes, they do have Trey Hendrickson, and he is elite, but the Broncos also have the number 1 ranked offensive line this year, both especially in the pass blocking game. They have done a great job of keeping Nix clean and upright, and I think because of that, a little bit of extra time gives a little bit more time for routes to develop to guys like Cortland Sutton, a guy like Marvin Mims, and a guy like Troy Franklin, somebody who I have his touchdown at plus 240. I'll just quickly talk about it, or plus 275. I think he is a guy who has seen 4 red zone targets this year. He's a 6'3" wide receiver that gives you a big target. Now, when you think about that, you have a guy in Troy Franklin who's 6'3", a guy who's 6'4" in Cortland Sutton, 2 of the biggest, tallest wide receivers, and that's exactly what you want when you get down and into the red zone. I think that this is a spot where Franklin is seeing that red zone target share because of the frame that he brings and because of the guy he's playing opposite of in Cortland Sutton. Sutton had 8 touchdowns last year, had a fantastic year, but Franklin's entering his second year, and I think he's going to see a bigger part of this offense this year, both in the red zone and just in general. He is this team's current wide receiver too. I know Mims is kind of battling some injuries. I'm not sure if he's been cleared to play today, but I do really like Troy Franklin anytime. And like Danny, I keep talking about your teaser, but everything I liked today was Broncos. I didn't like anything on the other side of the ball. Touchdowns, Bo Nix, everything.
I love what you guys are saying, and I mean, we're at the point now where you just crossed over the hour mark, and I like what JJ had to say too about Bo Nix. I think we can agree on this to kind of cap this off, because then we got to cook the parlay and we got to get out of here because this game starts here in 45 minutes, boys. If the Bengals keep this game close, if Bo Nix and company come out and don't put up a firepower-esque type performance, I think that we need to start having a different conversation about what the ceiling with Bo Nix on this offense might look like. Because this is the perfect get-right spot. This defense sucks. And this offense, as you mentioned, V, this offensive line, like I could get back there and have time with how much time they're giving guys.
Yep.
And they just need Bo Nix to produce. They just need Bo Nix to be better than what we've seen so far the first 3 weeks of the season. So I think we can have a different conversation a little bit about the fire alarms might start be going off here if the Bengals stick around, if Bo Nix looks a little discombobulated, if he doesn't take advantage of this bad secondary, then we need to start having a discussion maybe that Bo Nix is not the answer for the future of this franchise. I mean, we'd love to overreact. I don't know if that's the case, but we haven't seen it this season so far, in my opinion. And if this is a game that you can't come out from a Bo Nix perspective at home on Monday Night Football and put up a really good performance against a really bad defense, then discussions need to be had.
Yeah, you and I kind of been having those conversations a little bit. I know. And I will say though, if he just has a mediocre game and they still win, maybe we don't have it quite yet, because it wouldn't shock me as well as if Denver really hones in on the ground attack here, and that's also kind of another reason I think it could be lower scoring. They could probably get by just doing that. Where then also with Cincinnati, you want to take off some of the pressure of Jake Browning, try to get Chase Brown involved. Everything's eating the clock. But yes, I am in agreement with you, SPJ. You and I not completely sold. I don't know about V's thoughts. I'm sure he's probably in the same camp, but because you and I have talked about it extensively. But yeah, not sold on Bo Nix and company.
I think this is one of those games where we're going to find out, and we'll see. So we'll be able to talk about it here. There's 2 games kicking off here in the next 45 minutes. Thanks for tuning in to Betspresso tonight right here on the Betting News Network. Favorite part of the show, boys. If you guys tuned in for some bets, we just gave you a bunch for both games. Now let's cook the parlay. I want to try to avoid the stuff we used earlier.
Yeah.
For any given wager. I will remind you guys what we had for that one before we put together a little SGP. We'll go 4 legs. We'll try to get it up to plus 1,000. We got 2 games to choose from, if we can. The any given wager 3-legger from earlier is J.K. Dobbins over 64.5 rushing yards, Jamar Chase over 66.5 receiving yards, and then Justin Fields over 8.5 rushing attempts. That's plus 519. So a little bit more on the tempered side. 3 legs that we all agreed on earlier. Go ahead, Sauceman.
It's funny that you bring up Dobbins. I was literally going to say, I know we didn't talk about him, but J.K. Dobbins.
Oh, he's in a good spot tonight, man. We talked about him earlier. He's right for the picking tonight. I agree with that. V, I'll let you kick us off. What play would you like to include to start us off to get us rolling here?
And most of my plays are touchdowns today, boys. So we can definitely.
You are obsessed with touchdowns now, man. It's so wild.
Dude, it's the value and you can find it too.
I know,
and honestly, it's Trizzy. Trizzy's really gotten me into like looking at the lines and kind of seeing, because books know more than we do. I don't know how they do it or what they know, but if you're looking at it and you're looking at like a touchdown and it doesn't seem like it has as much value as it should, I think that there's usually a reason. Now, Troy Franklin plus 275, that's a little aggressive. But there's Courtland Sutton. I wrote about him. He had 8 touchdowns last year. He's looked great. But the thing is, the Broncos have only had 8 red zone trips this year. It's not that they haven't converted them. They just are a big play team. And sometimes that is what Sutton does. He's a big play guy that you can throw it up there and hope he comes down to get it. We can do that at plus 140, or we can maybe take his receiving yards.
I'm down to take the touchdown. As long as, Danny, are you down to roll with Sutton TD, or do you want to take the yards instead?
Look, I'm going to trust the process because I'm always rooting for our guys here. Personally, Courtland Sutton frustrates and scares the hell out of me as someone who's tried to, sweat out some of his stuff in the past. So that's all I'll say. But obviously, I'm on board, baby. We're in this together. So if you guys got the conviction, I'm right there with you.
All right. We're along for the ride with Courtland Sutton then. So plus 125.
Too saucy if we throw Justin Fields to get a touchdown too? Is that
Danny likes it. He likes it. I was going to say,
if we didn't want to do that, I was just going to say I would sub it for the Jefferson receptions. But if we want to roll with that too, I'll let you guys decide between the two.
You mean Chase receptions?
Yeah. Who did I say? Justin Jefferson?
Yeah.
My bad.
Chop and change.
I will be down for the Jamar receptions, the yards in the other lay.
We can take Jamar 5.5 catches. I'm down for that. All right, so we got Jamar Chase 6+ catches. Let me just make sure that's still the line here I'm looking at. Jamar Chase receptions. Where are you at, Jamar? 5.5. Yep. All right. So Jamar Chase 5.5 catches, and then I guess I'll go Breece Hall then, rushing and receiving. Okay, I'll go that direction. That's my other play that I really like a lot. I don't have it straight up in a parlay, so that works out.
For the fourth leg, should we throw JJ in here with Bo Nix?
I'm down to ride Nix for passing yards. If they're, they should probably move the football. And if they don't, again, we can have a separate discussion about Bo Nix at another time. But I'm down for that. Let me see what the live line is. Let me get Breece Hall in here, 82.5 rushing and receiving, and then Bo Nix. Where you at, Bo? JJ, you made the parlay. Congratulations, big dog. 221.5. So Courtland Sutton to score a touchdown. Jamar Chase 6 catches. Bo Nix 221.5 passing yards, and Breece Hall over 82.5 rushing and receiving. Plus 956, pretty much plus 1,000. Gets the job done, right there. Love to see it. Good stuff, boys. Great stuff, chat. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us today on your Betspresso. We went a little over, but we're excited for football. We also got super deep into the good, the bad, and the ugly, which is kind of turning into a thing around these parts. Go follow Danny Burke on the social media machine. Get involved with all of his content and all of his scribbles, obviously at bettingnews.com. Go follow V Sauce. Get involved with V. Boys, NBA is right around the corner. NBA is right around the corner. Go follow me at Sweatpants Jesus. Go follow all of us at Your Betting News. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, reminder, 3 shows again tomorrow, but different timings. Playoff baseball starts tomorrow. Colby's already got some stuff out there. I will tell you guys the pickoff will be live at 12 Eastern, 11 Central. You guys are getting baseball in the morning because we got 4 games tomorrow, and the first pitch is at noon Eastern. So get involved and come and hang out with us at 11 Central, 12 Eastern on the pickoff, and then look out for the tweet for the rest of the content for tomorrow. We'll see these lads later this week. See you guys tomorrow. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. You guys came for the winners, and you stayed for the vibes, boys. Anything else before we get out of here?
Best of luck.
Hell yeah. We appreciate you guys. Have a fantastic Monday night. Enjoy the games. We'll catch you in the next one.
What you know about rolling down in the down in the right here. Rolling. What you gonna do? Rolling. What you gonna do? Down in the rolling. What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit. What you know about?